Good evening, everybody. So when I got started in solar, I started like probably everybody else. I had a little small 12-volt system that I hooked a few things up to just to see if it would work. And then over time, I'd add more stuff to it. And I finally got to the point a few years ago where it was time to go all in and build a 48-volt system for my entire home. Now, when I was looking into the 48-volt systems, there really wasn't any of these server rack battery ideas. And if there were, they were probably way too expensive. So I ended up doing a lot of research, finding a lot of different YouTubers that had started by building their own DIY battery banks. And that's what I did. I ended up buying 32 EVE 280 amp hour cells, and I put them together to make two separate 48-volt battery banks, each one controlled by a JK-BMS. And I ended up putting those on this battery shelf, and they've been working great for me ever since. I haven't had any problems whatsoever. Well, you fast forward a few years, and now there's the server rack battery, which really, nice tight contained case, and most of them have, built-in breakers. They've got the ability to easily slide into a rack. Some have fire suppression built in, quick disconnects, all this kind of stuff. But now they've got these DIY server rack or wall mount or floor mount battery kits to where you can build your own battery, but they give you all the pieces to be able to put everything together. And the reason that I like the DIY kit idea is because it gives you the ability to kind of see how things work together. What goes into the battery itself. That's kind of why I open up and tear apart some of these server rack batteries that I review and take a look at, because I want to see how it works. And so this kind of gives me the best of both worlds. Because you see with the DIY cell battery that I built several years ago, it takes up a lot of space. You have to have a dedicated space where that stuff doesn't go anywhere. But these kits now give you the ability to stack them on top of each other, mount them to the wall. They're not just sitting on an open shelf anywhere. So I really like this idea. So when Gobel Power reached out and asked if I'd be interested in looking at one of their kits, I jumped on it. So I want to break this down into two separate videos. You can get different cells for the DIY battery kit. And so I want to take a look at the specific cells that came with this kit. What capacity, who makes them? Are they all similar in voltage, just coming out of the boxes? And I want to see, do they actually meet the capacity that they're listed at? And then in the next video, I want to look at the actual kit, do the entire assembly, and then run a full capacity test on the fully assembled battery and see if that allows us to get the full rated capacity as well once everything is put together. So let's get started. I don't even have room for the actual case. These are just the cells. So you can see I've got two boxes already opened up because I couldn't wait. I wanted to see what was inside. So if we open one of them up, since we're doing a 48-volt battery, we should have 16 cells. So we've got 3 sheets of epoxy board. And if we pull out the foam, we've got 3 cells in this box. So it looks like however many sheets of epoxy board we see on top, that's how many cells we should see. So if we pull that one out, Gobel Power, one-step lithium iron phosphate supplier, cell model GP-cell-314 amp hours, 3.2 volts nominal, 1004.8 watt hours. We've got our internal resistance, and then gobelpower.com is the website. Looking at the top, we'll look at the cells a little bit later, but laser welded terminals, gray is negative, black is positive. We've got our vent on top. Everything looks good. Anything else hidden underneath? Oh, there is. I'm glad I looked, because otherwise I would have just chucked the box. So we do have 3 flexible bus bars, and it looks like 6 serrated flange nuts on the inside. I don't know if you can see that because of the glare of the light. There we go. So however many batteries we have, we should have that many flexible bus bars, epoxy sheets, and then double the number of serrated flange nuts. We've got 2 damaged cells. The side of this, it looks like this side of this box was dropped. Well, that's too bad. I mean, that's more a shipping problem than anything, but I'll have to reach out to Gobel Power and let them know. So here's all of our flexible bus bars and serrated flange nuts, 16 flexible bus bars. We have a stack of epoxy board here. Let's see, back here we've got 14 314 amp hour cells. And then in the front here are our 2 damaged cells that'll have to get replaced. All right, let's go through and check all of our cells. Now I know that these first 2 are going to be a little bit higher because these are the 2 that I ran the capacity test on, but they should be pretty close. So 3.295, 3.282. So yeah, a little bit higher. I'll have to discharge those, but the rest of these, let's see here. 282, 3.282, 3.281, 3.282. Gotta reach all the way over, 3.282. And then this one should be high, a little bit higher too, 3.294, 3.282, 3.281, 3.281. How can I do this without getting in the way? 3.282, 3.282, 3.282, and then our dented ones, 3.282, 3.283. So again, these 2 right here were high just because I ran capacity tests on them. Every other cell came around that 3.282 range. So if we take a look at one of the QR codes, decode. Code seems right. This is a Cornex cell, 314 amp hour nominal capacity, nominal voltage 2.2 volts. Production date, August 18th, 2024. Check one more. Paste it in, decode. Again, Cornex cell, August 25th, 2024. I didn't end up picking up a battery tester, and I grabbed a couple of random cells out of just a couple different boxes and put them on to see if they actually can pull their full 314 amp hour capacity. I was never able to actually get the EB tester software to reload the existing data that I had saved off. So looking at the first test that I ran multiple steps. You can see we've got step 1. I charged it up. It put in 255.8 amp hours. I told it to wait for, I don't know, it was either 10 or 30 minutes, one of the two. And then I did a discharge, a constant current discharge, and it pulled 334.7 amp hours out of a 314 amp hour cell, which is just awesome. And it actually ran, you see, it ran for quite a long time because it could only charge up to 5 amps. So yeah. Wrong size tester for this size of cells. And then for test number 2, charged it all the way up. We again waited for 30 minutes, and then we had a 335.7 amp hour discharge. So here's our curve for test number 1. So yes, a very long time running, 118 hours. And test number 2. So you can see here, constant charge current. You can see the voltage. I'm not quite sure what this little drop is here. I might have bumped something when I was looking at something and got disconnected. But we got it all the way up to 3.65 volts. Weighted right here. And then we've got our discharge curve. And then our charge curve again. So pretty awesome being able to see 335 amp hours out of a 314 amp hour cell. And that's out of 2 different cells from 2 different boxes. So kind of a short video, but I wanted to just take a peek at the cells first, instead of trying to cram this into the entire build as well. Because I have a feeling that the build's going to take some time anyways. But I don't think I've ever messed with Cornex cells before, but it's kind of interesting to see how I believe the 314 cells are pretty much the same size as the 280 amp hours that I'm using in my DIY batteries. So, I mean, really, if they're able to take these cells and use them in the same case build that we're going to look at next time, that's pretty neat. It just kind of looks like, what, the cell density is getting better to where they're able to pack more capacity into the same size cells. So very interesting to see. What's really cool is being able to see 314 amp hour rated cells, but we're able to pull 335 amp hours out of both of the cells that we tested. So I'm really going to be interested to see when we get this all assembled in the DIY server rack kit, are we going to be able to still pull 335 amp hours? It's going to be a big battery. So you can buy these cells separately, so I will leave links down in the description below. If I do have any discount codes or anything, I'll try to include those as well. You can get them straight from Gobel Power's website. I do have to get these 2 dented cells replaced, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. And then we start the build. It's a little different than some of the other DIY kits that we've seen, because some of the other companies are kind of pre-assembling all the wiring and the BMS stuff to where you just have to drop the cells in, put the bus bars in, and that's really it. But I don't mind. I like putting stuff together. Like I said before, I like seeing how it all works together, how it all goes together. So this ain't gonna bother me one bit. It's actually gonna be more fun for me. So with that, I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all stay safe, stay warm, and we'll catch up with you later. I did want to get this in this video since it applies, but Gobel Power did end up sending me replacement cells for the 2 damaged ones. So in our next video, we will be working on our full assembly of the Gobel Power DIY battery.